Hi, you guys. Andy McDermott here, rookie, old man, OCR, Spartan ultra runner, trying to learn from another world famous expert today. I'm in my garage, but Ida Mathilde is in Denmark right now
Yeah,
at home.
correct.
And everyone say hi to Ida. Ida, I'm going to ask you, please, to brag about yourself a little bit. And I know you're humble and you're a very awesome human being. But please, so that I don't get your background wrong, can you please brag about your experiences in OCR world, please?
Yes, okay. So I have plus 100 podiums within OCR, and that's both within Spartan, European OCR, European Championships, World Championships. Last year, I became double European champion within OCR, both in the short and the standard distance. I won the OCR World Championships in the 3 kilometer. I have two world records for rope climbing. So like the highest rope climb starting from water that I did at the Opera House last year in Denmark, 28 meters. I train a lot. I'm very driven, and I just love OCR. Even though all this is about the podiums and what I've done and the bragging, it's also the love for the sport. It's so much fun and it's a very natural way to move your body. So yeah, I love it. So I think that was the
That's
very short kind of bragging version. So like
that
European
is
champion, world champion, and a lot of podiums.
Yes, you don't brag often, but when you do, that's some amazing bragging right there. That's an incredible resume.
Yeah,
Congratulations on all your success so far.
thank
Just tell
you.
us real quickly, how did you get started in OCR? Like, were you an athlete before that, or like, how did you get started in this world?
And I think that's what is very unique about maybe my story compared to many others. So I've always been like an active child doing all kinds of different sport, but I couldn't really find anything that really suited me. And then 10 years ago, I found an obstacle race, which was actually a bit random. Just some of my friends from the gym, like, oh, there's this where you have to run in mud and jump over things. I was like, that sounds fun. And then I just went with them. And in the start, the first couple of years, it was mainly just for hobby, for fun, and then I started getting more and more serious, trying to ask my work, can I work a little less hours to do this more? And getting some sponsors and like asking my work, can I work a little less? And like, and then in 2020, I tried to do full-time athlete. So now, yeah, I live of obstacle racing and being an
Wow.
athlete. So that's very cool. It's been a journey starting from a hobby to being your profession. So it's taking some time to say that it's not a hobby but actually my work and what I do, but it's because it's also a passion for me. So yeah, it's just cool to being able to be there now. So yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's a dream job, but I know as an old athlete myself that you work. A lot of people think, oh, it'd be so easy to just do sports for a living, but I know you're working harder than ever to maintain what you're
I,
doing. So um,
for
all right, so here's what I'd like to do: a quick fast five questions, where just give me the first thing that pops into your head. There's no wrong answers, and this will be a warm up for your brain. Okay, are
Okay.
you ready? Okay, all right. Favorite thing in the world to eat?
Licorice.
Licorice, red or black?
The black licorice. So it's like a Danish
Wow.
candy that's kind of salty and like I love it. I love it. That's my
Okay.
favorite.
All right.
Or
All right. I gotta try that. I got a movie you will probably watch at least five more times.
all of Harry Potter movies.
Wow. Okay. All right. I love it. Um,
Yeah.
if you listen to music for workouts or for running, what kind of music is your favorite?
Like Danish rap or like British hip hop music. Yeah.
Okay.
So like
All
rap,
right.
hip hop, British, Danish. Yeah, that's what I like.
Man, I'm learning so much already. Only in these fast five. I got to
Yeah.
find some Danish rap and some licorice. Um,
Yeah.
most beautiful place you've been, or one of them at least.
That's very hard. I think it must have been Great Barrier Reef diving in Australia,
Mm,
the East Coast. Yeah.
wow. Wow.
Yeah. That was like an underworld of magic. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
very
Wow. Wow.
nice. Mhm.
And then last one, favorite athlete or sports team? that you like to watch?
Oh, that is such a good question. I can't think too much. So the funny thing was, yeah, I can't think too much. I actually think, there are just so many.
Yep.
I
Are
think,
you a football fan? Do you like the Danish
yes,
World
then the
Cup team?
first thing was I actually thought about Cristiano Ronaldo as the first one, and
Oh,
it's not
wow.
because I'm a big football fan, but I think what I really like about him is he's like so dedicated with his training and the way he
Yeah.
does things with the recovery and like the way like he's so athletic he is even also in
Yeah.
an older age. I've just
Yeah.
always been extremely impressed by him. So I think him as like a person. But besides that, I really like watching the national handball team in
Ooh,
Denmark, both the men and the women. I'm very passionate about that. But it's because handball is kind of like our national sport, and
yeah.
yeah, those guys always do amazing. So I love
Yep.
watching those teams. So
Yep.
it's
Excellent. Excellent fast five. I think you're all
yeah,
warmed up. Now,
yeah.
I've got 6 quick questions for you from a rookie's perspective, and a lot of viewers, I think, may be considering. And my hope in this whole crazy project that I'm trying to do is maybe inspire some other fellow moms and dads, or people a little bit older, maybe ex-athletes, that there's more to fitness than just the elliptical trainer at the gym. And
Mm.
so some of your answers may help to inspire some of us, and certainly educate us, if we want to go out and do a weekend race or something like that. So first question, obviously you're in incredible physical shape and you are well fueled. So your nutrition, how would you
Yeah.
describe your intake?
So I think because I'm a more shorter distance focused OCR athlete, so I still run a lot every week. But because I do mostly focus on the 3 to 5 kilometer races, which is where I really have my expertise, I actually have a quite high carbohydrate intake.
Mhm.
So I actually have a lot of oats, for example, in general in my diet. Of course, I try to eat as clean as possible. I like to do more meals a day, I think, because I have a lot of training sessions. So I often start with like kind of carbohydrate meal in the morning because I often have endurance training right after, and then some protein shake or some fruit, and then like depending on if I have strength or more cardio in the evening, then I kind of adjust the carbohydrates again. But I kind of figured out that paleo or intermediate fasting or all these things hasn't really worked for me. It's more been, fueling a little bit continuously and then not being afraid of carbs, just eating a lot of like rice and pasta and oats and bananas. So
Yes.
that's kind of been
Yes.
my secret. I think
Yep.
it's different, but that works for me. But I also do a lot of intensity work. So I think that's why, in general, that's a good fueling strategy for me.
Yep. Yep. No, that's great. So not exactly meat based or vegetable based, but a little bit of everything.
Yes, I would say probably 50% carbohydrates and then like 25 of protein and yeah, and vegetables. Yeah, but I definitely eat vegetables. I love vegetables. So I always have them in every meal. It's just the amount that's kind of adjusted. Yeah.
Yep, yep, that's great. That's great. Let me, Mathilde, let me, hold on just 1 second. I'm just gonna pause this very
Yeah.
fast.
So
Okay, perfect, perfect. George saw the Amazon delivery lady that he loves more than anyone.
oh
George, come here. You stay here. Do you want to see George
yes,
real quick?
I do. I love dogs. Oh my God. So
That's
cute.
George. He's uh
Oh.
he's con- he's convinced that everyone is his best friend. So
That's good.
even
That's a
even
good
when,
way of life, I think, to
yeah,
just
right.
everybody being your best friend.
I guess so. And you can get away with it when you're a big fat bulldog like him. Um,
Yeah.
okay, so that was a great answer. Now, Ida, next question. If you could think of one, I know you've done hundreds of challenges, but one challenge that sticks out as maybe the hardest, or most
Yeah.
difficult challenge or event you've done.
I think I did a race. I actually did it twice. So, but in 1918 and 19, which was called, it was called Red Bull All In. So it was an obstacle race where you were doing kind of a tournament, doing more. But what was very unique was it was in minus 15 degrees.
Oh,
So you
jeez.
were running, and all the obstacles were just covered in like an icy layer, and we were running through rivers all the way up to our thighs.
Oh my
Meaning, and
gosh.
we did that as maybe the second obstacle, straight into an icy river, up into knee-deep snow, and like
Yikes.
your feet was just ice cubes by the third obstacle already. So I think just the way of the body operating in the cold and how to try to keep warm, and then you just got in for a few hours and then you had to do it again because it was a tournament, so you kind of proceeded every time. So it was actually 4 laps through this obstacle course in minus 15 degrees, and I was very bombed at the end of that day. So it was
Yeah, no kidding.
also, yeah, so
And
that was it
it's
was tough in another way. And we also ran up the ski slopes that the ski jumpers they jump down from, which is like
yeah,
really high. We had to
yeah.
like crawl up that one in the snow.
Uh,
It was like it was quite extreme,
you
it
know,
was.
I just learned a lot more about you just in that answer when I asked what's the hardest thing you've ever done, and you started with, well, I actually did it twice.
Yeah, exactly. And then the year after I came back because I was like, this was awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
right.
Yeah, exactly. It's
That
true.
takes that takes a special kind of human being. So that I love it. I love it. And next question: what are you training for right now, and what's an average day look like for you in preparing for that?
I think the problem for me this year, because my main focus has always been becoming European champion and world champion within OCR, and now it happened in 2022. So of course I always want to be defending, but I've been doing OCR for 10 years, and it's been my primary goal. That's all I've been focused on. Whatever was in my way, just that one direction until I got my goal. So now I've kind of allowed myself to take in a little bit of other challenges also. For example, the Gov Games I did this weekend, and I'm also going to do kind of an extreme expedition that I'm training for, which is also going to be in the cold. So I'm training a little bit for that, but I think my main focus is still towards the European Championships, which is in
Yep.
June.
Yep.
So yeah, that's my primary focus. And in general, as I said, I'm doing the more shorter course OCR.
Yep.
So I'm also coming to US to do the Spartan 3K North American series. So the
Cool.
Americans have to watch out. No.
Yeah,
So
we will. Where is that? Where's that one?
it's actually different places, but the first one is
Okay.
going to be in Big Bear, so in California.
Okay.
And
Yep.
then there's going to be one in the Poconos in Pennsylvania.
Yep.
And there's also going to be one in Mexico. They still haven't decided where. And then I think there is one more. I think there are 4 races, but I'm doing 3 out of the 4. So
Wow. Wow. It'd be nice to go to Mexico and thaw out after all of this cold talk that you're doing.
yeah, for sure. And
I mean,
it's snow outside right now. That's how it is in Denmark. Right now it's
yep.
snowing. When I go
Yep.
out, it's the spiky shoes from all the ice outside. So
Yep, yep,
yeah.
yep. Me too. I have the. You probably know these boots. I have the boots on right now
Oh yes,
because
I love them. Yeah.
yeah, me too. It's my daily shoes. Unfortunately, because it's snowy every day here in Chicagoland. So excellent. Okay, here's an interesting question for you. What? Oh,
Yeah, I was
go
just
ahead.
thinking I forgot to talk about my daily, like, so what I do
Oh
in a
yeah,
day.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah. What's the average day look like?
exactly. So my focus is the European Championship, and I think an average day for me looks like, I wake up, I do my morning yoga, I kind of maybe use 1.5 hour. I'm not the person that uses like a ton of time at home. I kind of like to get out and get on with the day. And then I often have either running or cardio session in the morning. So I have my endurance based session in the morning. So as soon as my breakfast is, not up here, that's kind of when I go to the gym or to the running track or wherever to kind of do my cardio session. And then I have
Yep.
lunch. I maybe have some either work, sponsor, travel planning, whatever. That's the thing when you're in a sport, which is where stuff isn't planned for you, so you kind of have to organize everything yourself. You're a little bit your own project manager, so use a few hours of that kind of in the middle of the day or relaxing, depending on how hard the session has been. And then the evening, that's often where I either have strength training or like technical sessions. It can be like grip sessions, bouldering. It can be OCR technique specific classes or things like that. So often I have 2 training sessions a day. And then I have that maybe 3 to 4 times a week. And then I have 2 half days and 1 full rest day. But the full rest day is the day I work. So a little bit as a consultant. I have a little bit of work. So I often do a lot of stuff.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right. So your day off is a work day, it sounds like.
Yes, but it's off my body, but then it's my head getting used. So I often have a lot of things going on during a day.
Yeah,
So
right.
yeah, it works.
That's a busy week right there, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so what is one lesson that you have learned the hard way that has helped you in your racing or in your training, but something you learned the hard way? I'm a big fan of learning lessons the hard way. I've learned
I
way too many
think
in my life that way.
I think the way of learning to distinguish between what your mind wants and what your like gut feeling tells you. So I've always been I love OCR, and I've been really good at the technical stuff, really in it, quite fast, but I've always lacked the running. So I've always been really stressed about, I have to do more running training, have to be faster, better. And my mind has been wanting me to get to a point much faster than my gut was telling me, your body isn't feeling good, or like so it's very important to kind of, do some realistic goals. And even though your mind kind of sometimes wants to quiet down all the kind of response that you're getting from, like inside, and maybe, I shouldn't do this and that. So I kind of learned the importance of, recovery more, and not being, things takes time, and that's of course makes sense. And of course you have to work on your weaknesses, but you don't have to, do it in an unsensible way because your mind tells you like that, like you have to do more and more and more. So I think that's been important for me to just listen to my body and be like, I think what I need. And I don't say that to be an excuse to skip a session, because I rarely do that, but it's just important to be in contact with what your body is actually telling you sometimes, even though you have a planned schedule that you should do X or Y. So
So smart. So smart. I come from the fitness world, and I've always told people, whoever made up the saying "no pain, no gain" is probably dead right now. Because it's stupid, like pain is our body's way of communicating to us that something isn't right, and we have to learn how to listen to that. So sometimes hard for stubborn athletes, but we perform better if we actually listen, right? So
for sure.
2 more questions. Day before a big race, what's that look like for you? Are you resting? Are you eating more, drinking more? Like is there anything different at all? What's that look like for you?
So I think it depends on the distance of race, of course. So if I do longer races, so that will be plus 1.5 hours being in a high zone for me. I would for sure make sure to get a lot of liquid, a lot of electrolytes, and get, enough carbs. I actually do, if I do the longer races, I do kind of a carbing strategy already 3 days before. So I don't just the one day before eat a lot, because then you like all feeling all very heavy. So I kind of do it kind of continuously over 3 days. But I think if I do the shorter races, it's important for me to eat, kind of like more clean foods on the day before. So not doing things that are too processed, I think has worked quite good for me. And then I really like for my visualization of the course to actually go to the race site, because in obstacle course racing, there are so many obstacles and there are different techniques and they're placed different places. So you can look at the kind of, they often do this route map where they point out where all the obstacles are, but it's always cool to see, okay, how high is the rope climb, how does the rig look, how is the different holes. So kind of I can mentally visualize how I'm going through the course, and that helps me, if it's possible, to go and actually just walk around the course the day before,
Yeah.
not do anything super intense. If I do some kind of, I like not laying down the whole day. I like to be like active, but in a subtle way. So, for example, walking or doing something. If I really feel like I need to move my body, it's not much more than like 10-15 minutes of maybe some small 30-second strides or something like that. So I often do a bit more intensity 2 days before, and then kind of rest by just walking around on the race side and just, looking
Yeah.
at stuff and being mentally prepared and thinking, how am I going to start? How am I going to attack this obstacle? How am I going to feel here? Also focusing a lot, for example, for you, when you're doing a longer race, I would think a lot about fueling strategy. So like, what kind of foods do I want to take where? And sometimes it helps me to remember, okay, when I pass that obstacle, then it's probably 1 hour, then I need, or I write down on my watch, like 45 minutes this, 1 hour this, and then you can kind of do a little plan. So kind of, having a strategy, I think I do a lot before a race, because it makes my mind be more calm, and then I feel more, ready to race, because I kind of have an idea of how I want to attack the course, if you can say it. So
Yeah, man, that's great. It's preparation physically, but also mentally, and just getting your strategy right.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. Okay, last question. I'm looking for a race day secret that maybe not everybody knows, something that you have learned or that you use that maybe other people wouldn't have thought of.
Okay. So is it OCR specific? I think I might have two. Can it be two secrets?
Please, two is even better.
Okay, so one very practical secret, and I don't know if it's a secret because maybe other people do it. So when you do obstacle racing, often you could go into water and you can get wet and all these things. And a lot of the obstacles are quite grippy, and often you're not allowed to use chalk or use anything on your hands. But what actually works really good is like either dry grass or just dirt. So just like sticking your hands into the dirt and kind of, getting them dry before you attack some of these, grip obstacles. It's just like anything that can dry out your hands just a little bit more. And often for me, it's like, is there anything dry on the ground? Okay, there's some dirt, and maybe it looks weird that you're like putting your hands into the dirt before you do something, but it can make if you've just been in water, it can make your hands get a little bit drier before. So I think that's like a little notch, which can, be good. And then I think the other thing which I like when I do obstacle course racing is not thinking about like the whole entire thing when I start, because that can be like, oh my God, I have to run 21 kilometers in mountains and all these obstacles. So really like trying to focus just at one obstacle at a time, like next one, trying to make my mindset quite simple. So if I start getting a lot of thoughts in my mind, it's a lot about like just thinking about breathing, or where I'm going to place my foot, or when I go into the obstacle, then I'm going to, put my hand like this. So just try to make my mind be more calm, instead of thinking of the whole big chunk of thing I have to go through, to just be like, okay, now it's just focus on lifting your legs a little bit higher, onto the next obstacle. Okay, now you do this obstacle. Now you just focus on moving your hips. And now you focus on placing your hands at the top. So just giving yourself kind of very simple tasks, instead of thinking of the whole, giant thing at once, because then you're like, I'm at obstacle 2 and I have like 50 more to go. And it's like, I'm already tired. And now there's like a hill I have to go up. So there you can just make yourself, it just becomes a bit more manageable in your mind, which I think is kind of a like nice way to do it. So
that's huge. I'm going to remember that on race day, to not think about the next 59 obstacles and only think about the first one.
Yes, and also some simple things, like if you can feel, okay, now I'm just gonna, like, now my legs are light, I'm gonna feel like my legs, or now I'm gonna feel the grass underneath my feet. And I know it's maybe a little like poetic, or now I'm gonna feel the air in my face, just kind of shifting the focus and just being, like focusing on other stuff. And even also, of course, being grateful. Now I'm just like, I want to feel good, or just refocusing about not doing, because you get through a lot of mind processes when you do, especially also the longer races. So it's gonna be good.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Ida, I can't thank you enough for your time. This is incredible. This is like a master's degree in preparation for an OCR
Thank you,
race. So
Randy. Thank
that
you.
we crammed into 15 minutes here. So
Of course.
me and all of my friends here in this virtual world will be now big Ida fans moving
Oh,
forward. So
thank you.
we're going to be
And I'm
cheering
excited to
cheering for you.
following you and see how it goes with your project. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's a very impressive challenge you've tackled on as the first one. It's like,
Well,
it's
thank
very
you.
impressive. So I think
Yeah.
like thumbs up for that. That's
Yep, I'm
really
I'm hoping to set a new world record and finish that race in less than 2 weeks
cool.
from start to
Yes.
finish. So, so
That's
we'll see what happens. Yeah,
maybe if
but
you wear like a ninja costume or something. There's also like weird world records where it's like even
yeah,
if you do some kind of thing.
yeah, right. I would definitely need to find something very weird. That's for
Yeah,
sure. So,
very
well,
specific. Yeah.
yeah, that's right. Well, Ida, thank you so much. Best of luck in the rest of your adventures, and
Thank
hopefully
you
we'll reconnect sometime soon.
for sure. And thank you for
Okay.
having me. Thank
Hey,
you.
my pleasure. Talk to you soon.
Talk
Okay,
to you
bye.
soon.